Well, 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 would you look at the time? So Dark and Darker's wipe day is December 18th, and with it on day one will come a new socketing system which will use the 4 existing types of gems in the game, and they can be inserted into any weapon or armor, taking one of the stats that are already rolled on it and changing it into a completely different stat. Iron Mace has just concluded their first episode of Table Talk, featuring Odin and Grayson, where they discussed the socketing system in depth and kind of showed it off to us. And I want to take a look into that and break it down a bit further. After that, we're going to discuss the drop tables for all the gems and the different qualities of those gems, so we can come to a conclusion on where the best place and the best methods are to farm those gems, because there's no doubt they'll definitely hold a important place in the economy and in the game of Dark and Darker as we move forward. For those who just want to see the drop tables, I'll drop them right now on your screen. If this is overwhelming, don't worry, we will discuss this in depth and make it more clear for you in the second half of the video. Alright, let's take a delve into this socketing system that Odin and Grayson showed off here. Alright, getting into it here, you can see the middle portion of the screen this is a epic level purple Zweihander, so there's 3 mods on it, and in the middle it shows the 3 mods that are already existing on it. And it looks like he's got 3 different gems here, so you can take one of those mods, and if we have the gem available, we can click on it, and it looks at the bottom it costs 100 gold to change out the existing mod with the mod that's tied to the gem. And it looks like we'll have a bunch of different mods for each gem. Looks like 3 mods for each gem. For some reason, the diamond's not up here, which is very interesting. But yeah, the middle of the screen showing the 3 mods. Of course, a legendary would have 4, a unique would have 5, a blue item, a rare would have 2, etc. I'm curious though. This only has 100 gold cost. If the like a legendary would be like 150 gold, would a unique be 200? We don't know that yet, but what's interesting also is that it looks like you can select 2 gems onto the same item. Here, I think he's going to do it. He's got a blue, he's got a sapphire and an emerald, and boom, he just changed it. So it looks like you can socket more than once on one item, but I don't know if you can put more than 2 of the same gem type on the same item. So yeah, as I was saying before here, you see in the still shot, you have action speed and from the sapphire and health from the emerald. So yeah, definitely looks like you can put more than 1 gem on one item, which is pretty nice. But also here in this still shot, you can see the 3 mods in the center. But also one thing to note, the ruby having 3, so maybe you can only put 1 gem of each type in, which would kind of make sense because the ruby here looks like it has all the damaging like abilities on it tied to it: physical damage bonus, physical power, and additional weapon damage. So I can see why they wouldn't want you to just put 3 rubies in to get all of those on any particular weapon. So that would make sense to me. It looks like you can socket more than 1 time on an item. You can't put 2 of the same gem type, and each gem will have a theme to it. It would appear rubies are damage. One thing that's important to note is that Odin has said that the socketing system is not going to be like if you take a legendary item and put socket it to make it have 4 good on rolls, that the attribute that you get from the gem you're putting into that socket will not be max roll. Most 2-handed weapons can do +3, +4, or +5 max health. However, with the socketed, you'll probably get a +3 to your max health. You would not get a +5. And this is again to circumvent getting the maximum roll. None of the sockets that you put into your weapons or armor will grant you the max roll. It will just change the roll that you don't want to a roll you do want, and when that roll you do want will be at the mid to lower end of what's possible to roll. And here Odin explains it well.
It's important to note that, and this is something that we were discussing a little bit before the show, that the sockets are not going to be as good as if you found the gear in dungeon.
Okay.
You'll see right now, like I said, the limit is actually, you can potentially get the max roll, 3 to 5 health, 1 to 3 fizz power.
Oh, you can?
When this actually goes live, that most likely will not be the case.
Okay.
We're still playing with the values.
Okay, good.
Kind of deciding if they want this to be as powerful as finding the gear, and I think the overall consensus is that doing that kind of takes away the fun of finding the gear yourself and the excitement of actually getting that awesome piece. So I think the objective here is to just give a way to modify gear, and it's not just weapons, armor, accessories, everything.
Alright, let's go over the drop rate tables for rare, epic, and legendary quality gems. So the highest actual chance to get a gem, technically, is something called loose loot. And there are specific spawns on certain maps where there is a gem spawn. However, the gem spawn doesn't 100% of the chance spawn a gem. It just has a chance to spawn a gem. And the quality is also random. So certain maps will have certain gem spawns that are static. I know what you're saying, right? Zeplore, the maps are about to be RNG. So this is all about the change, right? But the gem spawns are static in the modules. And the modules themselves are being randomized. Just the way in which the modules are presented and attached to each other is randomized. But the module itself, the enemy's chests and the static loot in it, is going to stay the same, if that makes sense. So I brought up 5 examples I'm going to show you here, okay? So these are all, and you can go on darkerdarker.maps.spellsandguns.com, or you can just Google the map. This should be the first link that comes up, but like for instance, Goblin Caves. I have deselected everything, but down here you can choose to loot drops and click on gems. It's its own drop, right? And you can see here, because there's only one Goblin Caves map in the game, and then you see here there's a ton of static gem drops actually in the Goblin Mine. There's like 10 to 12 there actually, which is more than I would have thought. And then of course Goblin Maze has a few. Another one to note is the Stonegraves B, which a lot of people call this bug room. It's the room adjacent to the troll room that has a bunch of giant spiders in it and all kinds of bugs. That's the name, bug room. But yeah, one thing to note, when you click on this, so this is called a Gems HR1. Goblin Caves, Ruins, and Ice Caves are considered Gems HR1 drops. And then Crypts is considered Gems HR2. And the Inferno down below Crypts and Ice Abyss is considered Gems HR3. So this gem is HR1, so this would just be the high roller maps for Goblin Caves, Ruins, and Ice Caves. So on all the static spawns, there's a 8.75% chance of a blue gem, a rare gem, a 1% chance of a purple gem, an epic gem, or a 0.25% chance of a legend gem. So on any of these, there's a 0.25% chance at a legendary gem, because again, these are HR1, and this is the HR1 loot table. So moving on, we have Ruins. Ruins actually has a lot of gem spawns in some of its modules. And again, the orientation of all these modules will be the same on day 1 of wipe. Only the Crypts is going to get randomized for now, but even once Ruins does get randomized, the modules themselves won't be randomized. Like this is going to be, you know, a module, this is going to be a module, this is going to be a module. Just the way in which they connect will be random. So, an altar has a bunch of gems, and I believe this is underneath with the giant spider and the mummies that spawn. You have to go down underneath these stairs, and there's a bunch of static gem spawns in that module. Let's see here. Great Hall has a few. This Great Hall has a few. The Keep has a few as well. This is a slept-on module, I think, in the bottom right-hand corner here with the champion or the skeleton mage up top. It's always a nice module to loot. Pretty secluded early on. The next one, Inferno. That's my next example. So this is a Gems N3. This is not a Gems N2 or N1. This Inferno module in particular, so Death Altar has 4 and Waiting Room has 4. Unfortunately, if I go to the other Inferno, the second map layout, if you look, there's only one singular gem drop, and it's in Blood Prison. So the modules to note are Death Altar, which I think everybody knew this one. It's very popular because there's like a Berserker, 2 Demon Dogs, and a Skeleton Mage up here. And then the gems would be in the eye sockets of these giant skulls that are behind the mage. And there's like a res table right here too up top. So very iconic module. Waiting room has 4. I didn't even know there was any gem spots in this module, so I'm gonna have to go and check that out actually. But here's the interesting thing: if I click on N2 or this gems N3, right, and look at the drop table, so instantly we're noticing a big difference here, okay? Because the chance to get a rare is 31%, a blue gem. This is Inferno High Roller. The chance to get a blue gem in any of these static spawns on High Roller Goblin Caves, Ruins, or Ice Caves is 8.75. 1% for an epic, look at the difference, and this is Inferno. This is also Ice Abyss too, is also considered N3. 14% for an epic, so go from 1 to 14. That is a 14 multiplier, basically, if you want to look at it that way, which is pretty crazy. And then, of course, a 1% to get a legendary gem in any of these spots. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spots, and each spot has a 1% chance of getting a legendary gem. That's pretty big. So, definitely a good way to get legendary gems, I would say. Another thing, too, to note is Ice Abyss. And again, this is going to be the same static layout. The Imp Ritual Room, this part down here, has 4 gem spawns. Again, each one of these, all in the same little corner. Each one, 1% chance for a legendary, 14% chance for an epic gem, which is pretty big. Going back to our sheet here, so we've discussed what loose loot is and the percent chance on some of the modules. Ice Abyss and Inferno are really the good ones. Inferno has a few good ones. Crypts has like no loose gem spots. On both the Crypts maps, there's like 2 loose gem spots, one on each variation of the entirety of the modules. There's a few retired modules that aren't included in the 2 versions of the Crypts maps we have now. However, I didn't really want to cover the Crypts maps too much, because, I mean, those maps are going to be randomized completely, even though the modules are the same. But even so, with the modules being the same, the modules as they are now, there's like barely any static gem spawns in the crypts. So we have got past the loose loot sections for each rarity type. I want to go down and notice this interesting thing. So for the blue gems, the rare gems, you know, for your emerald, sapphire, ruby, diamond, the best way to get besides the loose loot is killing giant nightmare spiders. Giant, so the black giant spiders on goblin caves, you know, the ones that spin the webs and drop spider silk. Almost a 2% chance, not bad. And a mummy nightmare has almost the same chance, a little bit less, and then the ice giant spiders that are nightmare, almost the same chance, a little bit less. Elite spiders, so the red spinner spiders, 1.55. Elite mummy 1.38, and elite giant spider 1.55. Any lion's head, royal coffin, or small coffer chest in high roller has a 1.67% chance to give a blue gem. Any golden chest has a 1.57% chance to give a blue gem. And then any treasure hoard, so any loot pile in norms, 1.5% chance for blue gem. Any loot pile in high roller has a less chance to give a blue gem. The treasure hoard in high roller is the highest percent chance to get epic level gems. It's a 1.67% chance on any treasure hoard in high roller. Ice giant spiders in nightmare is the one mob out of any mob that has the most standout highest percent chance to drop epic level gems at 1.67. Interestingly enough, the second mob that has the second highest chance is a nightmare giant spider. So the ice giant spider, that's the nightmare version, is almost double, a little bit less than double the normal giant spider that you find in goblin caves, like the nightmare version of that giant spider, which is very interesting. I looked up the nightmare mummy. It's only like a 0.4% chance. Like, it's not even the top 5. It's like such a low chance. So you're gonna get purple gems from mummies too much. You're gonna get them from your ice giant spiders, and interestingly enough, your treasure hoard. So play in ice caves to hit the treasure pile, and also kill these giant ice spiders. The nightmare variants would be a good way to maybe get some good level gems. Golden chests almost have a 1% chance to drop epic level gems in High Roller. Lion's Head, Royal Coffins, and Small Coffers have a 0.83% chance to drop a purple or epic level gem. Alright, moving on to legendaries. So when this says 0.25% chance, this is actually a 1% chance. So loose loot is still the best way to get the legendary gems. The problem is you can only get them at a 1% chance on the Ice Abyss and the Infernal levels. Everywhere else, the only other way you can get them is in Goblin Caves, Ice Caves, or Ruins High Roller, or Crypt's Norms. All those have a 0.06% chance. Interestingly enough, the legendary gems have the same drop rate on Crypt's High Roller than they do for Inferno and Ice Abyss High Roller, which is interesting. But the thing is that there's barely any static gem spawns in Crypts. Like I said, there's like 1 or 2 over like 25 modules that are available. So you're not going to find many gems in Crypts despite that chance. And going past the loose loot again, so our legendary gems have a 0.3% chance to drop from any treasure pile at High Roller. Interestingly enough, any treasure pile in Norms has a 0.2% chance, so not a whole lot less than High Roller. So you can still pull legendary gems from normals, which is an interesting thing to note. So you could go in naked into Squire gear, into like Goblin Caves or even Ice Caves, and loot the treasure hoard, and it doesn't matter like if it's the treasure hoard after you killed Ghost King or the treasure hoard after you killed the Cyclops. In normal Squire gear, both of those treasure piles in normals would have a 0.2% chance per pull to get a legendary gem, which isn't bad when you think about it. Obviously you'd much rather have the High Roller, but you're not risking anything going into Squire gear and kind of aiming for this. I mean, and this is at 0 luck. So the more luck you have, the more this number would go up. Not by a whole lot, mind you, but it does go up. Marvelous chests and High Roller and Norms have the same percent chance for legendary gems at 0.2, which is the same as pulling them from a normal horde. And then golden chests and High Roller and Norms have a 0.17%, so a little bit less than the Marvelous chests. So overall, I still think your best bet on getting legendary gems is the High Roller treasure hoards, or from those loose spawns, and specifically Inferno and Ice Abyss. Those 3 modules, the waiting room. Let's go back and see. Let's see here. So these gem spawns, the Imp Ritual rooms, those 4. The 4 that are on Death Altar, this module, and the 4 that are in waiting room in this module. Those are your best bets for getting legendary gems outside of hitting a loot pile in High Roller. Alright, last thing to note real quick here, the only way in the entire game, as of right now, this could change. All of this is subject to change. Don't be coming at me if they change any of this shit last minute. However, if they do change something, I'll be sure to address it in the pinned comment on this video. So if they change a whole lot, I'll end up probably making this video again later down the line, but for now this is up to date. But last thing, unique gems are a gem quality that has only recently started to drop when they buffed the loot quality. Unique gems, you can only get them from the treasure hoards in High Roller, and it's a 0.025% chance. So the absolute smallest, the teeniest, tiniest percent chance. So luck would affect this number. It does go up, but not by a whole lot, you know. Guys, thanks for watching, man. I appreciate it a lot. And to those that are that know me well, sorry I haven't been streaming much. I've been tackling Xfinity, and they've been kind of fucking me around. So, but I bought a new router, a really premium router. So hopefully my internet should be good to go for streaming again come wipe day. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. And I'll be probably streaming come wipe day, Xfinity and my new router willing. So peace out, guys. Take it easy. Have a good one.